Hey there. Sorry, not trying to be intruding or anything, but, you look a little pale there. Are you alright? Right, okay. You know, you don't have to share anything with me that you don't want to, but you really don't look okay. Nervous flyer? Hey, I'm not judging. It's very valid. It's a big, scary thing that seems a lot more threatening than it usually is. You know, you're trapped in a giant metal box that you have no control over whatsoever. If anything happens, you're like, oh my goodness, what do I even do? We're like super high up in the air. I can't change anything here. But I mean, I don't know how much it'll help hearing this, but I'm just gonna say it anyway. Two things. One, it is incredibly unlikely that anything will actually happen. Statistically, and maybe you've been told this before and you're terribly sick of it, but statistically, airplanes are much safer to travel with than like cars or buses or even biking. And the other thing, we've been flying for a little while. It's not like the newest invention out there. Obviously things are still getting improved and there's always like new, better things to come out. But in general, the concept of flying, especially passenger aircrafts, have been around for a while, so we have some good procedures in place for like all kinds of things. And all the flight attendants on this plane, you know, the two you can see over there, and then more in the back, they are very much trained to handle things if anything does happen. So you're in good hands. Flight attendants are often seen as just waiters and waitresses up in the sky, but really, they can do a whole lot more than that. I think you're good to trust them to take care of things that need taken care of. But, before I start talking about accidents and what's happened and what hasn't, in an attempt to show you how unlikely it is that you'll get hurt, how about we just try distractions instead? I've heard that works a lot more than trying to squash out fears with logic. Yeah. Yeah, I've kind of had this kind of talk before, and it didn't go that well. You know, in general, when it comes to anyone's fears about anything, it can sometimes kind of help to, like, rationalize it. Show, like, hey, you don't have to have this fear. But most of the time, fears aren't based on logic. They're based on feelings. Maybe one previous experience that's, you know, traumatized you in some way, like a fear of dogs that many people have because they've had a negative experience with a dog, usually in their childhood. You know, when that's what you're up against, it seems, in the best case, insensitive to be slapping on a sticker of "you're invalid and here's all the reasons why." Right, well, what is there to talk about? I've been told I'm horribly bad at small talk, so please do forgive my struggling. That does remind me, though. I believe we haven't had any introductions yet. I'm sorry about that. Kind of forgot, I guess. So, I'd like to ask, what is your name? Oh, I like it. You think that's strange? No, I think you have a really nice name. To be fair, I will admit maybe I'm biased, because I am Theo. Well, technically Theodore, but that's an even stranger name for a woman to have, so I try to just go with Theo and hope that people assume there is some kind of other female name behind it. I don't know, it's weirdly important to me. Yeah, well, you know, I am named after my grandpa. At which point I wonder, why couldn't I have been named after my grandma? I would much prefer Sophia. But, I kind of get it. It's, you know, it's a very sentimental reason. They were quite close. And I believe he kind of saved her at one point or another. And she wanted to honor him. So she went like, hey, my first child, gonna name him after you. And then I was a girl. And my mom was like, I'm not going back on my promise. And I was like, great, I'm not looking forward to school time. Well, I probably didn't say that at that point because I was just born, but, you know. Anyway. Oh. Would you look at that? We are, already up in the air. I'm so sorry for having distracted you through that. What can I say? I'm sneaky like that. Are you feeling a little better now? I hope so. If not, I wouldn't mind continuing this conversation. And when we're starting to go through the process of landing, if it would help make you feel any better, feel free to hold my hand.